All right. So, hi everyone. My name is Nomadic Matt, and today we're talking about how to pay rent with your credit card. Um, I have with me Richard Kerr. Um, Hi, Richard. Wave so people know.
What's up, Matt? How's everybody doing?
Richard works for a company called Bilt. Bilt is a credit card that lets you pay rent um, with a credit card for no fee. So today I want to talk about that card because we're getting a lot of questions about that card. I think it's an incredible card. It's my primary card, actually. I use it for most of my day-to-day spending. Um, I love their transfer partners, and it's kind of a no-brainer card, at least in my opinion. I've known Richard for a really, really long time. How long, Richard, have do we feel like
Well,
me?
you're at least 15 years older than me, and if we go back 10 years from that, it's probably been about a decade.
Yeah, yeah, it's probably the case. I met Richard when he was just a travel writer. He worked for I don't know what this AI uses technology. Hold on, I got a weird pop-up. Not now. Um, I think hold on. I have to make sure I'm still recording. Yes. Okay. All right. So sorry. I got a weird Zoom pop-up. When you were working for the points guy, you were a travel writer, and Richard is sort of my go-to guy for all things on saving on gas. He is sort of like the pro on how to reduce your gas costs. So when I was doing road trips, I was talking to him a lot about that. He's got all
That's
these facts.
pretty random call out, but yeah, certified points and miles nerd, and if there's a way to save a few dollars, I've probably dabbled in it.
All right. Well, so let us begin by asking Richard, and just a couple of sentences, what is the Bilt card?
Yeah, the Bilt card, the Bilt World Elite MasterCard issued by Wells Fargo. That's the co-brand card of Bilt Rewards. It is a no annual fee card that allows anybody in the country to pay rent. Two ways that happens. One is you live within the Bilt Rewards Alliance, which is our official network of multifamily housing partners around the country, about 4 million apartments. If you live in one of those apartments, you can be a Bilt member. You do not have to have the Bilt card, and you can pay via a variety of ways through your rent and earn points. The secret really comes in is if you live outside of the Bilt Rewards Alliance, so you rent from Mr. or Miss Smith down the street and you want to pay rent and earn points, we can do that a couple ways with the Bilt MasterCard. One is we turn that into an ACH account. We call it the Bilt Rewards account, and you can pay in your landlord's ACH portal. The second thing we do is we can actually mail you a check via FedEx or USPS for your rent amount to your landlord. Again, doesn't matter how you do it, there's no fees. But Matt, we started almost 3 years ago now, which is hard to believe. Last week was my 3-year anniversary of Bilt, and we just had the Bilt card. But Bilt Rewards has expanded quite a bit, and we are now, an entire loyalty platform. So the way I want everybody to think about us is think about us like a Marriott Bonvoy or Delta Sky Miles, where we're a loyalty platform where you can earn points on, yes, rent, but also a lot of other neighborhood and everyday expenses. In addition to that, we have our own co-brand card, just like a Marriott or a Delta does, and that's where the Bilt MasterCard comes in. So tons of stuff going on. I know we're going to dabble and touch on quite a few things today.
So Bilt is really just sort of it's a rewards platform with a credit card.
Yep, pretty
Can you
much.
earn like okay, well let's talk about a whole bunch. There's a whole bunch of things I want to unpack from that. For one, this is a question I get often asked a lot. Let's say the benefit of it here, especially if you live in a high cost of living city like I do in New York, you pay a lot of money in rent. And it's sort of wasted because you can't earn points. But one question I always get asked, I get you create sort of like the checking account intermediary or mail a check. But let's say my landlord only wants me to pay by Venmo. Is there a way to like connect that so I can still get points on the network?
Yeah, look, there's lots of different ways to pay rent now. You've got Venmo, you have Zillow, you have apartments.com, you've got, all kinds of payment portals. We pretty much work with 99% of those, including Venmo. For the ones where we don't work on because we haven't quite figured out the technology integration yet, you can still pay your rent. And then if you're a Bilt MasterCard holder, you send us a screenshot of your receipt. We're going to manually award you points. So we don't want to leave anybody out. But I mean, it's a good point, man. Like when you talk about 4 million different apartments around the country and all of the technology that goes into payments and rents today, like it has been and continues to be an absolute monstrosity of a technology network and effort to get all of this to work. So still trying to figure it out as we go. A lot of stuff changing on the landscape right now. But to answer your initial question is, yep, we pretty much work with everybody. If we don't work, then just send us a receipt and we're going to give you your points.
Excellent, excellent. So because I think that's a lot of worry probably for people on this phone call, as well as emails I get is like, my landlord doesn't take checks or have ACH. I have to pay them through insert weird technology, like random technology. I'm like, if
Yeah.
you show proof of payment, they'll do it.
Yeah. As long as you're a Bilt MasterCard holder and you show us proof of payment, we're going to get your points. So I come from the consumer side, right? So everybody listening, my background is, I was at the points guy in one form or another for 7 years. I had my own community for a long time. So I completely understand the frustrations of a poor product experience and a poor customer service experience, having been for a long time and still in many ways in everybody's shoes on this call. So the vast majority of the time we default to our member and our customer if something is not working right, and still in startup mode. A lot of technology, if there's a bug, if something happens that's undesired, like we're pretty sure we're gonna favor, like bank mistake in your favor, collect $20. It's kind of like the internal model that we talk about around here. So if there's something that goes wrong or is not the way you want it, like you're gonna get your points. We're gonna take care of you.
Love that. I love that. And so, how did this sort of card come about? Because I feel like the like pre 3 years ago, there was always like these, how do you get points for rent or your mortgage? And it was like you have these like one-time offers, somebody was like lowering their fees and like you get
Yeah.
a gift card and then you like, you Frankenstein a whole bunch of stuff together and then it would go away. And so how did Bilt come about and how does it even work? Because I think a lot of times people are just sort of like, seems too good to be true.
Yeah. Yeah, number one question I get asked is what's the catch, right? And me myself over 3 years ago when I first heard the pitch, I was like, so what's the catch here? Look, the very, very short answer of this, because it's a very long story, is if we knew 4 or 5 years ago when the founder and 3 years ago when a lot of us started how hard this was going to be to make work, we probably wouldn't have done it. And that's the same thing our founder says all the time. The very short answer is our founder, gentleman named Ankur Jain, was in the Bay Area paying rent, and he thought this is absolutely ridiculous that I'm paying all this money in rent and getting nothing back. How can we make this better? And the initial thought was, what if we earn points so that people can move into home ownership, right? And which is something that you can still do, which is, you can redeem Bilt points for 1.5 cents each towards the down payment on a house. So, this started down that path of, what are the economics? Why has everybody else failed at this? Why is it so hard? And the biggest hurdle we actually came up against was regulatory approval. So after the housing crisis of 2008, 2009, tons of reform, lots of new laws. And when they got the foundation for Bilt rewards completed, they went and they said, hey, we want to, make Bilt points available for home ownership. And everybody was like, wow, that's a great story. Got a call from a lawyer that said, hey, just want to let you know, reward points are not one of the three things that are allowed to be funded, for a down payment on a house. And it wasn't because somebody specifically excluded them. It was that because at the time, the lawmakers never thought that reward points or credit card points or rewards should be something that would be, allowed to fund a down payment on a house. So that led to a year of effort and literally meetings with, two of the sitting secretaries in the cabinet at the time and the administration to say, this is what we want to do. And finally getting over that hurdle in late 2020. And that's kind of like there's so much more behind that entire. It's really quite an amazing story that we talk and joke about all the time. But from there it kind of got to, well, if we have these points for down payments, what else is important to this generation of people our age? Our average member right now is about 30 years old. They live in the big cities around the U.S. And that's kind of where I came in. Is travel is obviously super important, and we wanted to create the best travel program that's out there. And we feel like we've done a good job at that, and we continue to make efforts on it all the time. So that's kind of like how we got started. But I think the real question that you want to know is what everybody asks, which is probably Richard, how do you guys make money? I think is what most people ask. And look, the short of it is Bill MasterCard has interchange just like any credit card. So we get a percentage of every time somebody swipes the transaction. That's a great source of revenue. The second is we sell Bilt points to our 4 million landlords who use those now as an incentive program they've never had before. So if you can go to a tenant and say, hey, resign your lease early and get 20,000 Bilt points, refer a friend to sign a lease, get 10,000 Bilt points. Hey, we're sorry that your fridge and dishwasher were broken last week. Here's 5,000 Bilt points. That is much more cost effective to them than just giving cash out of their pocket. And it's entirely new marketing and retention program that they've never had before. You add on top of that the Bilt Neighborhood Rewards program, which is a merchant network program that we built. We're going to talk about, we get a percentage of every transaction on that. So, Matt, I'm sure you've probably read just on Reddit, like I have, that we must be burning through VC money and we're not here to stay. And this is a loss leader and unsustainable. I can promise everybody on this call that we don't do anything at Bilt unless we think about how it's going to be sustainable. And we are certainly not on the VC hamster wheel. So super long answer, man. And every time I try and condense this stuff, but there's just so much going on. It's so complex. It's so hard, but it's so good. And that's kind of what we have going right now.
One of the things I like most about Bilt is that even though Chase sometimes has, you get an extra point here or there, you have sort of like this rent day where you get double points. And, sometimes you can't save purchases for the first of the month, which is, coming up soon. But like you have rent day, you have a ton of transfer partners, you sort of have a tiered bonus system, where like the more you spend, you get some certain perks. And so kind of explain how because you don't have a welcome offer, right? And a lot of people are like, oh, no welcome offer, because I think credit cards have trained people to be like, get the sign-up bonus, get whatever travel you want, cancel the card, but you also have no annual fee. So I assume no welcome offer because there's no annual fee, but kind of explain like the reward structure and sort of like all the sort of perks beyond if you don't have the credit card.
Yeah, sure. A lot going into that. So I'll take on the first question is why don't we have a sign-up bonus? That's what everybody wants to know. To your point, yes, we are no annual fee card, and the value that we feel we give back right now for a no annual fee card surpasses that for most cards with an annual fee. But look, sign-up bonuses now, man, it's a race to the bottom, right? We're seeing welcome offers now of 100,000, 185,000, 200,000 points. That is significant costs to those other programs in order to acquire new customers. And that's ultimately what sign-up bonuses are. It's a customer acquisition tool. And, knock on wood right now, we don't have a customer acquisition problem because if you pay rent, we feel like having the Bilt card and being a part of the Bilt program is a no-brainer. So, we don't really philosophically believe in welcome bonuses and losing all that money in order to acquire customers. So I hate to tell everybody, but, right now there is no plan to have a public welcome offer ever in the future. That said, to your point, man, we give a ton of value. So it's for the Bilt card, it's 3x points on dining, 2x points on travel, and 1x point on everything else. Again, we think these are the most valuable points out there because of the variety of ways that you can redeem them and the partners that we have. Rent day is the first of every month that Matt was talking about. That's where we, thought about almost 2 years ago, hey, the first of every month is a big bummer for everybody in this country that pays rent. What if we took it around and thought maybe we give people a small, tiny reason to look forward to paying rent by making rent day something special? So what we do is we double the point value props on the first of every month. So if you have the Bilt card, that's 2x on everything, 4x on travel, and 6x on dining. So a lot of people, including, myself, we schedule all of our bills to be paid on the first automatically. Cell phone, gas bill, power bill, electric, all that stuff goes off. By the way, we have cell phone protection for free, so you should be paying your cell phone bill with the Bilt World Elite MasterCard. But on top of that double valid point proposition, we come up with a pretty lucrative, man. Matt, you tell me if, we've done a good job so far, but typically a pretty lucrative transfer bonus or some kind of hero promotion on top of the double points. What's been your favorite so far?
I like the fact that like the other issuers, but often more so is like you have transfer bonuses based on like tiers. So you kind of reward your heavy spenders. So like, you can get 100% or 150% transfer bonus. So I mean, I get, it's a way to incentivize people to use the card, which works for me because I end up using the card more because, I think last year it was like a 150 or more for Virgin
Yeah.
Atlantic. Was it more?
There's 150% for top tier. Yep.
Yeah. So I ended up, getting a flight back from Europe for like 12,000 points on Virgin, because it was like, and so it was like really nice because that was business class. And so you really end up getting a lot of value from those bonuses. How do you like pick a lot of this stuff? Like, you know,
Yeah. I mean, I was on a
what,
phone call right before this talking about a future rent day with a partner. So a couple of things that you touched on in there. One is Bilt does have our own elite status program, so you can earn different tiers of status in the Bilt rewards program itself. Everybody who joins is a blue member, and then we have silver, gold, and platinum, and that's the combination of if you're a card holder, how much you spend on the card, but also back to the Bilt platform, how much you spend in our platform. And just to touch on that platform real quick, we call it neighborhood rewards, where we have a partnership with Lyft, where you can link any payment card, not just a Bilt card, but any Visa, Amex, or MasterCard to your Bilt account and pay for, Lyft rides with that. And on top of the rewards that your card gives you, you're going to get bonus Bilt points. And we have that same model for dining now in restaurants. And we have over, I think we're up to 22,000 restaurants around the United States now for Bilt dining. And we've got future partnerships coming in grocery, coming in pharmacy. So it's going to be pretty much anywhere in your neighborhood that you spend money, regardless of what credit card you have. We would love for you to have the Bilt card, but if you don't, you just link it to your Bilt account and you get bonus points. Um, so how do we go about thinking on these promotions, right? So based on, what status you have every rent day, if you have top tier platinum, you're going to get a little bit better offer than if you're just a base member. And that's to Matt's point. We hope to drive you through the funnel and become a better Bilt customer. What I look for on the travel side in rent day, and not every travel or not every rent day is going to be travel based because, as much as you and I would love for everybody to be obsessed with travel, it's just not the reality of the entire member base countrywide. But from the travel side, again, coming from the consumer side, having sat in everybody's shoes here, what is something that's going to get people excited? What is something that has never been done before? And man, I'll tell you, trying to get these massive airline and hotels to move differently at a different pace or think differently can be a challenge, right? So you have to find the right partner, you got to find the right people, and you've got to, essentially challenge them and say, look, we've done all this stuff before with other partners, but this is what's going to get Bilt members excited. What if we did, we started with a 100% transfer bonus, which people said that'll never happen again. We've made it happen multiple times. And we said, what if we get platinum Bilt members 150% transfer bonus? And going forward, what is it going to be that is truly setting people, setting Bilt apart from what other programs are doing? So we've done buy one, get one free on cruises. We're doing status challenges with United and Hyatt, right? Things that I hope everybody on this call would be excited about. And, we have some really cool stuff planned for the rest of this year. So it's all about what's new, what's innovative, what's going to get people excited and want to make you engage with Bilt even more.
and so one thing you just kind of brought up is this reward network. And I think this reward network isn't really understand. Sometimes I get confused by it because, I swipe my Chase card and I get Chase Ultimate Rewards, right? But I don't get Ultimate Rewards unless I'm swiping that card. But here you're talking about, you can get Bilt points without the Bilt credit card. And so I kind of like to go a little bit more into that because sometimes like that is sort of the opposite of how credit cards work in many ways. And so
Yeah.
like, it's like, how do, because, okay, one thing I love about you guys is like, you have great transfer partners, right? Like Hyatt is like with Chase, right? So if I want Hyatt, I have to go to Chase, but you have Hyatt. So like now I'm opening up the Hyatt, you have Hilton, you have Marriott, you have Alaska, you have a lot of unique partners that other cards don't have. And in many ways, like you combine like a lot of Amex partners, a lot of Capital One partners, and a lot of Chase partners into like together, right? So if you have Bilt, you get access to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So like I love that. But so can you explain a little bit more how that rewards work without the credit card and how like that gets set up? Because spoiler, that's gonna lead me into a question about if 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 you have a mortgage and you don't pay rent. So
Yeah. So the entire platform we're talking about, we refer to as Built Neighborhood Rewards. And again, that's thinking about if I'm a renter in the United States, where else do I spend my money and why am I not getting more rewards? And more importantly, some cool experiences that we're going to offer on top of that. So if you go to the Built app right now, you click on the tab at the bottom that's right next to pay rent called Neighborhood. It's got a little arrow icon. You can see all the different ways that you can earn points, right? We have the partnership with Lyft. We have all the dining restaurants around the country. We have fitness studios. We have an Amazon partnership. So you can link any card that you have, like Matt said, a Chase card to the Bilt app. Go dine at one of these restaurants, get your Chase points, but also get your Bilt points. And that is, a win-win for everybody. So the way that we set that up is if you're a local coffee shop next to a huge apartment complex that has, 500 units, you would love for all 500 renters to come into your coffee shop. Before Bilt existed, the way that they did that is every resident that moved in got like a paper coupon in a folder that said 10% off at Richard's Coffee Shop. And like, that's not really 2024 technology, right? So what we said is we went to Richard's Coffee Shop and said, hey, if you fund, 5% of every incremental check that Bilt drives, you're going to see this much more business. And the restaurant who has margins well over 5% for most places in the coffee shops, depending on the kind of business you're talking about, they're happy to do that. Because now if you look in the Bilt app and I'm in the restaurant and I click the neighborhood tab, it says, hey, go get 5x Bilt points, 3x Bilt points right here at this coffee shop next door that I may have otherwise never heard about. I go in the coffee shop, I pay with my Amex Gold that gets 4x on dining, and I got 4x Amex points, but now I also got 3x Bilt points. And now I got 7x Bilt points on or 7x total points on my morning coffee. Like I'm thrilled. And the merchant is thrilled because, they paid a little bit to get incremental business and they're happy. And we actually make a percentage of that transaction as well, which is one way that we make money. So the customer wins. Everybody on this call can get, in that case, 7x points. The merchant wins because they have incremental business. And I just got a percentage of that time you swiped your card, whatever card it was. So truly, everybody wins. And it's really resonated. So we've expanded that around the country. It's going to continue to expand more. So I'm just telling you, download the Bilt app. It's free. Sign up for an account and then link whatever payment cards you want to use into your Bilt account and look at what other partnerships we have live right now. And I'm telling everybody, we have a lot more partnerships coming. So that's kind of the neighborhood rewards, as we call it right now. And look, pretty great value prop for everybody. If you have a Chase Sapphire Reserve card, you get 10x on Lyft rides, but you can also get, an additional 2x on Bilt points as well. So now you're talking, 12x points on your Lyft rides. Like it's no brainer, right?
so as long as you have a Bilt app account, you can do this.
Yep.
And you
That's all
don't
you
need,
got to do.
and you don't need the credit card to do this.
Nope. Because remember, I make money regardless of what card you link to your account.
So a question I get often from people is, this sounds really great, but I don't rent, I pay a mortgage. So I guess
Yeah.
two questions. If you pay a mortgage, then just sign up for the app and service and link your account into the Bilt Rewards network so that when you go to Joe's coffee shop and you swipe your Amex, you're still getting the Bilt points additionally.
Yep.
Do you have plans to add mortgages into this?
Yeah. Certainly the other question I get asked every single day. First of all, I'll tell you, like I pay mortgage. To your point, man, the Bilt card itself, regardless of rent rewards, whatever thing else, it's a no annual fee card that provides outsized value. It just does. I think everybody subjectively agreeing to that, and I would strongly urge you to take a look at it because of all the different things we have going on and the ways you can earn points. That said, look, mortgage is another huge monthly expense that right now nobody's getting rewards on. And our founders said it several times. Yes, we 100% plan to move into the mortgage business. Now, what that exactly looks like, when it's going to happen, we are still figuring it out, but we're figuring it out, on a daily basis right now. If you look at our press releases 2 weeks ago, we announced a partnership with a real estate company called Douglas Elliman, where we said, hey, for the first time, if you have a condo and you got to pay your condo payment or your co-op fee, you can do that through Bilt now and earn points just like it was rent. There are some very exciting things happen. There are some concrete actions that have already taken place. And we are going to move into the mortgage space. And that's going to happen, sooner rather than later. So we're really excited about it. Again, don't know what exactly that's going to look like. Don't know if that's going to cover every single mortgage in the US to start out. That's obviously a huge shift in our customer base, right? Our value prop is going to stay the same. It's going to be no annual fee. Everything that we talked about today is still going to exist, but if you start to bring in that many more millions of members into the business, we have to make sure that we're ready from a lot of different places before we can just flip that switch. So I hope everybody's excited to hear that. And please stay tuned, just later this year to find out more.
Awesome. So today's webinar is only going to go for 45 minutes. So I want to open time for questions. Final thoughts from me is really that I do love the fact that you don't need the card to earn points, right? Because if you think about the other issuers, you have to have an Amex card to earn Amex points, right?
Yeah.
You have to have Chase to earn. But if you just have the Bilt app, you're kind of double dipping, right? Like you get those incremental bonus points, especially because you have all these special offers. And I think you should always be earning as many points as possible. So like,
Yeah.
it's probably a lot slower to get without the credit card, the enough points, but why leave points on the table?
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of last thing that we're excited about, we just launched a couple of weeks ago, and this has to do with the other issuers part that people are always talking about. Alaska is our newest transfer partner, or our newest airline transfer partner. Really excited to have them on board. Obviously, it's a fantastic program. But 2 weeks ago, we just launched a new benefit where if you have the Alaska Airlines Visa Signature Card issued by Bank of America and you pay your rent through Bilt with that Alaska card, you get 3x Alaska miles per dollar on your rent. That's like, $2,000 rent, you get 6,000 Alaska miles a month in order to do that. Now, there's a fee. There's a 3% fee like everybody charges on that. So the secret sauce of no fee is always going to be tied to the Bilt MasterCard. However, Bilt MasterCard, 1 point per dollar, Alaska Airlines, 3x miles for a 3x fee. I can certainly redeem Alaska miles for more than 1 cent per point, probably over 2. So it's a winning proposition, but that's how we're getting everybody into this ecosystem to win, right? Bank of America is obviously very excited about that. Alaska is very excited about it. We are, and we hope people that have the Visa Signature Card are going to earn a whole lot of Alaska miles. So this ecosystem, we are dedicated to expanding it in a way that makes sure everybody wins and that this is sustainable.
Okay, so I'm gonna go through. If you have a question, just drop it in the chat, and I'll read it to Richard. Meg asks, "Is this available in Europe?" Which I know the answer is sadly not.
Sadly not. International expansion, coming 2035, but let's get the US right first.
Yeah. Okay, do you get 3x rewards on restaurants and 2x rewards on hotels if the restaurant is outside the US or the hotel booking site is outside the US?
Yeah, so 2 parts to that question. Restaurant, yes, there's no foreign exchange fees or exchange fees on the Bilt MasterCard. So yes, you'll get 3x dining outside the US anywhere in the world. Travel, 2x points. Doesn't matter where in the world you book it, but we define travel as direct bookings with air, hotel, car rentals, or cruises. So if you're booking the Park Hyatt Tokyo, yes, you're going to get 2x points. If you book the Park Hyatt Tokyo through Expedia, you're not going to get 2x points. So it cannot be online travel agencies. It's got to be directly with the travel provider.
I wonder if that answers the question from Katie, who says, "I paid for a hotel on May rent day and only got double points, not 4x points. So maybe she used an online portal."
Yeah, but again, remember, Bank Air in your favor, please send us a ticket right in the Bilt app. If you go to your account page and scroll down to the support and say, "Hey, I only got 2x points on this hotel for rent day. Can you take a look?" I bet there's a good chance that we're going to award you the 4x points.
Yeah. So just as a caveat to this, then if I am booking a hotel on booking.com, that's not
That's
travel.
not travel. Correct. Yeah. Got to be direct. There's a lot of reasons for that. I will tell you that every travel provider in the world right now is doing everything that they can to drive direct bookings. And I would argue that is in the favor of the consumer because that means you get your points or miles from the hotel or airline. That means you can call them and get service. You don't have to go through an OTA call center. That means when things go wrong, they're going to take care of you really quick. So, I mean, I don't book a hotel and airline unless I'm booking direct, unless, 99% of the time. And would encourage everybody to do that as well.
All right. Um, no, that's just another question. Can you explore Built Alliance apartment members before signing up? So I guess can you see if you're part of the alliance before you get the
Yeah, we
card?
don't have a website right now, and I'll tell you that's because we're launching about 50,000 apartments a month right now, and trying to keep an accurate list would be very hard. And in our opinion, putting up an inaccurate list is more frustrating than not having a list. The best thing you can do is call the apartments that you're looking at leasing from, and they'll tell you. And actually, if you go to most of the apartments in the U.S., there's a big Built Rewards Alliance plaque on the outside now, which is pretty cool to see and walk by. I'm in Chicago right now and walk by and I've seen a few myself, but just call the apartment and they'll tell you if they're a part of the Built program. But remember, even if they're not part of the Bilt program, you can still pay rent if you get the Bilt card for no fee.
Uh, Nandini says or asks, my apartment has a rent payment portal that only accepts rent via bank accounts. Is there a way to get around that? And I would say that you do create an ACH account, right? It's sort
Yep.
of like an intermediary.
Yeah. So we turn your Bilt credit card into a Bilt rewards account, which will have a routing number and a checking number, and that goes right into your payment portal at your apartment complex to pay via ACH. One thing to call out there is if you do want it to act like an ACH, you can actually go into the Bilt app and turn on what we call Bilt Protect. And that is where instead of the rent going onto your Bilt card, it will be directly debited from your linked checking account. So that way, you don't ever have to worry about carrying a balance on your card if you don't want to.
Still earn points that way?
Oh yeah, still earn points, of course.
Just making sure.
Yep.
Um,
And then the other thing to call out there is we also will report your rent on time to all three credit bureaus for free. So we really are trying to elevate everybody into a healthier financial state. So please make sure you turn that rent reporting on the Bilt app as well, so that you can increase your credit score by doing what you're doing anyways.
Austin asked about redeeming points. Is there a difference between doing so with you versus without a Bilt card? So I will say quickly, redeeming points is always best if you transfer to um, a partner. But I will ask, you can still transfer if you don't have the card, right? Like as
Yeah.
long as the rewards program.
Yeah, there's no gating of how you can use Bilt points, whether you're a card holder or not. Again, we want everybody to be a part of the Bilt platform. Doesn't matter if you have the card or not, you can still redeem points in the exact same ways.
Laura asks, going back to condos for a bit, are points provided for condo fee payments, but
Yeah.
only in that network or for anybody?
No, for anybody. If you have a condo fee, HOA fees, um, or who knows what other kind of fees there are out there these days. Best majority of the time, you're going to be able to pay them with Bilt. You just cannot pay mortgage, and then you obviously can't pay anything outside. Like we see people all the time try and pay their car loans, their insurance loans, their student loans. You can't do any of that yet, and we have all those payee blocks. And again, that's for an entirely new or entirely different set of pretty complex economics about why you can't do that.
This is an interesting question. So we have the Built Rewards network, right?
Mhm.
Like that's, then you have the Built card. Paul asks, can I connect an Amex or CSR to the rewards network?
Yeah. I mean, so Bilt Rewards Network, right? That's neighborhood rewards. That's any merchant that's in our platform, which you can see in the Bilt app. We want you to link every payment card that you use all the time to the Bilt account, right? And that's when you get both your Amex points and your Bilt points if you go and shop at a participating merchant.
So if let's say I connect my CSR, I can pay rent with my Bilt card and then pay groceries with, or like go to Joe's coffee shop with my CSR, and I still get Bilt points.
Yeah. Yep.
I always love questions. Can I get rent if I pay? Can you get points if you pay rent to a family member? So I guess like if if you pay rent to a family member, I
Yeah.
see.
So I'll tell you this, like we obviously have a subset of gamers in this world. Again, I'm a gamer at heart as I sit in the Park Hyatt Chicago right now, booked on points, right? It's gamer at heart. So we have to be very careful about this. There are, thousands, if not millions of Americans who legitimately rent from their family members and mail them a check every month. If you do that, that's fine. I'll also tell you that we have a lease verification program where if we see anything suspicious or anything that doesn't match the eye or anything that doesn't match a set of pretty complex fraud checks that we have, you will be asked to provide a lease for verification, and we will freeze your Bilt account until we, take a look at that lease and make sure, hey, it's legitimate. So I will tell you, if you are paying, Uncle John $7,500 a month for rent at an apartment in Tulsa, Oklahoma, we're probably gonna take a look at that and see, like, maybe that's not what rent in Tulsa, Oklahoma is $7,500. So I'll also tell you that, like, let's not ruin a good thing. Like, if people do this kind of stuff, like, it costs us money. And let's just play by the rules.
Great. So looks like we're out of questions. So I will say this call has been recorded. It will be sent to you via email along with more information on the Bilt card, my blog post about how it works. A lot of people had specific questions on redemption and navigating the system and rent days. We'll send all those resources. If you want to sign up, I'm going to drop a link in the chat. And thank you, Richard, for coming. And this is informative. I think what's really cool is, we all want more points and miles. So if you're not excited for some reason to get a no fee card for your rent, but you just want Bilt points, again, sign up for the rewards network, link your other cards, and sort of double dip. Double dipping
Yeah.
is great.
100% download the Bilt app. Please take a look. If you have any feedback, we are very responsive. You can shoot me a DM on Instagram. It's probably the best way, at Kerr Points. I'll be very responsive. And Matt, appreciate it and look forward to everybody out there. Please go and earn your Bilt points.
All right, more points, more travel. All right, I'll see you all later. Thank you all for coming. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. Richard, have a safe flight back to Atlanta.
Thanks, man.
All right, bye.